Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 19 in the book of Deuteronomy. He brings us out so that he can bring us somewhere. Where is it? Let's find out today. So the Lord is going to bring out the people of God that he can bring them in. So the people of God are saved for a purpose. They're rescued from someplace to a someplace. Similarly, the people of God today have a rescue from someplace to someplace. So it's the same thing is true today as it was for the people of the Old Testament. Let's find out what it is. We're going to start in Deuteronomy chapter 6 and start in verse 16. You shall not put the Lord God to the test, as you tested at Massah. You shall diligently keep the commandments of the Lord your God, and his testimonies and his statutes, which he has commanded you. And you shall do right and good in the sight of the Lord, that it may go well with you, and that you may go in and take possession of the land that the Lord swore to give to your fathers, by thrusting out all your enemies before you, as the Lord has promised. When your son asks you in time to come, what is the meaning of the testimonies and the statutes and the rules that the Lord our God has commanded you? And then you shall say to your son, we were Pharaoh's slaves in Egypt, and the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. And the Lord showed us signs and wonders, great and grievous, against the Egypt and against Pharaoh and all his household before his eyes. And he brought us out from there that he might bring us in, and gave us the land that he swore to give to our fathers. And the Lord commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear the Lord our God, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive as we are this day. And it will be righteous for us if we are careful to do all his commandment before the Lord our God, as he has commanded us. So as we see in the passage, the Lord brings them out. Why? That he can bring them into something. So you're saved with a purpose. You're not rescued that you would, stay in the place of rescue. You're saved to be a part of him and move on with him. So the people of God had a purpose from God. And that has to be true today, that the people of God have a purpose from God. So he brings us out of sin that he can bring us into sanctification. He brings us out of being spiritual orphans to bring us into spiritual adoption. He brings us out of trying to earn justification to just receiving unearned grace. So the caution from yesterday is that when he brings you in and times are good and you're in the butter tub of grace, take care lest you forget the Lord. So we have to lay that warning to our heart in the good times. So it's easy when we cry out to him in the bad times, not that that's easy, but it's easier in a sense to find God in the tempest than it is in tranquility. So if you're being blessed, be careful. That was the message from yesterday. Here's just a general observation about the Bible. And the title of this podcast is Be With Me. It's a joke that you're being with me, the podcaster, but really the idea is to get us to be with the Lord. Why? Well, because that's the big theme of the Bible. Similarly here today, he brings us out of something that he could bring us into it. And what is that thing? Where does he want to bring us? Well, the Old Testament as well as the New Testament says to himself. He's the treasure. He's the reward. And he is the ultimate prize. So I always say that the problem with the prosperity gospel is that it's not prosperous enough. It focuses on too much of the rewards of Christianity, but he gets the rewards wrong. Rather than profit and planes and things that it promises and good, perfect health, it's the person of God. That is the great reward. So is there something? No, wait. There is something to be brought out of. Now, what is it? Let's just pause for a second. What is it that our dear Lord might desire to bring you out of? I'll wait. So I can't tell you exactly what that is for you. Everyone's different. And you say, well, I can't think of anything. Well, then try this. Pick someone close to you, maybe a spouse, maybe a parent, maybe a friend that knows you well. And if we ask them, what would it be that you would do well to be brought out of? Trust me, they'll have an answer like this. So that's a good way to think about it. What would somebody else say? Let them pick the category or the flaw or the sin. What would it be? The besetting, problem. temptation that causes you a particular suffering, whatever it is. So here's what I do know. I don't know what your particular problem is, but here's what I do know. I know He wants to bring you out of it. Why is that? So that He can bring you in to fellowship. He wants to bring you out that He may bring you in. Where? To Himself, to fellowship with Him, to fellowship with the family. So this is why we study the Old Testament as well as the New Testament. So the pattern is the same in both. So God is calling a people in both testaments. So He calls us out so that He can bring us into Himself. And I love the Old Testament, the broad and bumbling and even bloody strokes of the Old Testament. Don't take that wrong. And I also love the personal and detailed and the fulfilled images that we see in the New Testament. So in our passage today, He challenges us to take possession of the land, and in the New Testament, to take possession of Himself. So it is to receive Him initially in a salvation decision, and then to continue to take possession of the blessing that is Himself in the walk of sanctification. So the passage today has all kinds of things for us to do. Diligently keep what He has told us. Don't put Him to the test. Do right in His sight. Tell this to your sons and grandsons. Tell this to your spiritual sons and grandsons. Fear the Lord that we might live abundantly. And finally, the big one for today, know that the Lord brings us out of a situation, brings us out of a place for a reason, and that is to bring us in. And where is that? It's to a relationship with Himself. And that is the greatest treasure of them all. Thank you for listening.